I'm going to just jump in right away with one of our big topics from this past week. And that has been the topic of epigenetics. And we're joking around about it, but it's a really big topic, right? Epigenetics means the science of studying how our DNA interacts in the environment in the body. And I want to be clear, it doesn't mean that if you go eat health food or work out at a gym that all your problems are going to spontaneously go away. It doesn't mean that. What epigenetics means is that the quality of the way your DNA interacts in the environment will determine whether the genes will have a healthier expression or a more pathological expression. If you have a BRCA mutation, for example, it might express in most people a very high percentage of that, but yet not everyone has that expression of the pathology, of the disease, of the illness. And so the conversation about epigenetics is so important because we now know that the quality with which we care for our bodies and the environment within our bodies helps determine the efficacy and the degree to which our DNA actually are successful in producing the chemistry that we need in order to stay healthy, in order to fight cancer, in order to balance out our pH, in order to make sure that we're fully digesting our food and assimilating the nutrition that we're pulling apart as we pull those food molecules into little bits and pieces. So epigenetics is a huge and important conversation. So it's telling us to go like this. So if everyone...
That's inappropriate.
Okay, Zicky, you pop pills for a living. I do not pop pills for a living. As a matter of fact, I have a great deal of respect for when people do need pharmaceutical interventions. I, for example, have an autoimmune disorder, and I take something for my thyroid, right? So I take that very seriously because after decades of holistic living, it didn't make as much of a positive impact as I would have liked. So I take that really seriously when someone does make a careful and well thought out decision. However, we always have the opinion that you want to do the things that are natural, that are holistic, that your body can sustain on their own. And if we can get the body to a place of homeostasis and equilibrium, and the body is able to maintain its own biochemical balance and make the body adjust to the challenges and the daily stressors in a way that has you optimizing your health and thriving and succeeding in life, we'd rather do it that way than to do it with a pharmaceutical intervention. That's just my personal opinion in the way we've lived our lives. If anyone is able to please share and invite anyone else to join us, we sure would appreciate it. And of course, I want you to know you asked that great question. So let's see, that was Zicky, right? Zicky, do you have any more questions about that? And I want you to know that Dr. William Singh is here. She is a traditional Chinese medicine doctor in Florida. And we have some really great conversations about natural and holistic ways to improve people's health, to restore homeostasis, to balance out the energy meridians, maximize the body's vitality and health. And it's really kind of a cool thing. And we do it through a combination of things: energy medicine, mindfulness, nutrition, but also just positive, healthy relationships. The way and the quality in which we get along with others has a lot to do with the quality of the health in our own bodies, because in the end, I think humans are social beings. What do you think, Julia? Are we social beings?
Yes, very social beings. Yeah, we definitely are. That's the difference between us and all the other animals, I feel like. I mean, we use our mouth we created our own language. So we're very, very social beings. We stay with our parents till we're 18 years old. No other animal does that that I know of. So, I mean, the fact that's the fact. So, yeah.
Yeah. And as time goes on, we're learning that other animals actually do have some really interesting communication styles. They just don't have tongues and control of their mouth quite the way we do, but they really do have communication styles. I think that's a new place for us to research in science. The communication styles of animals. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Oh, I would totally be down for that.
I want to meditate and have telepathic communication with a dolphin. Something I've wanted to do my whole life.
I believe that you can. I mean, you can do insane things. Magic on this earth is real. It is called spirituality and practice.
Yes. Hi, Sugar Brown. Hey, Sophie. Hey, everybody. Let's see. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Ziki had a
That
really,
goes
really
for
good
you guys
comment.
too. You guys.
And
Yeah.
C. Shock is talking about mindfulness. Absolutely. So, yes, mindfulness and holistic health. So let's talk about those things, and please bring in your comments. The thing is, there is no one who's an expert on everything. It just doesn't happen, right? What is true is that we come together in community and we share with each other, and people become friends, and we support one another, and we share insight. And together as a collective, as a community, we grow and learn together. And it is so important. So let's talk a little bit about the practice of mindfulness. We actually have the ability, I don't know who this is, but have the ability to engage in a very purposeful way in our own consciousness. Sometimes people go through their life almost being the victims of their own thoughts and experiences, as if they have no control. And the reality is, there's something called metacognition. Metacognition is when I realize that I am driving my own thinking bus, when Julia realizes that she's driving her own thinking bus. And even though we might have a sad or upsetting or even fearful thought pass through our mind, we can decide whether we're going to jump in the deep end of that sad, oppressive, or frightening emotion, or if we're going to direct our focus in another way that's more positive or productive in order to create a better outcome for ourselves. So mindfulness is when we are very purposeful, as if we're getting behind the wheel of a car every day, and we're checking the tires, and we're checking the rearview mirror. We're making sure we have clear passage before we put the car in gear. We're making sure that there's gas in the tank, right? We want to be very mindful when we engage with our own consciousness. Are we rested? Are we well fed? Have we had something to drink? Do we need to stretch? Do we need sunshine? And then we can look within and see, what is our emotional state within? How does our energy feel within our body? And then what types of thoughts are we chronically and perpetually generating in our minds? And we can actually be as purposeful in the way we operate this meat suit, right, as we are when we operate a motor vehicle. That's a new concept for some people. And then for many of you, I know many of you are very spiritual. You've been meditating for decades, and you have mastered the idea of being very mindful and practicing metacognition. And again, metacognition is beyond thinking. So it's basically knowing that you are the thinker within, or as we say to children, you are the one driving your own thinking bus. What do you think? Driving your own thinking bus.
Driving my own thinking bus. Well, that's also has to do with taking responsibility for your actions, right?
Yes, and this has more to do with being purposeful about what you're thinking, not letting your mind
wait
run
a minute.
away.
Hold the phone. I know a lot about this stuff.
I know you do.
If you,
right?
Yeah, like what goes in your subconscious will go out into the universe, and I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds like that's what the real magic on Earth is. I mean, that's seriously what magic is. People think it's like something with a wand, but no, it's not. It's your thinking. You deposit something positive in your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind will then reflect it into your life, because it's your subconscious mind when you're sleeping. It's the one that does these things. Like if you're outside and you're feeling really cold, but then you remember something about being cold that brings you something happy, and that's the subconscious mind coming up.
Right. And do you want to hear a cool thing?
Sure.
Gergana said she's not driving her own thinking bus. She's driving her own thinking Porsche.
I'm dead.
Like, that is so dope. I absolutely love that, Gergana. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is amazing. She's driving her own thinking Porsche. Thank you.
Tap, tap, tap.
Yes, Aida, you are what you think. Absolutely. And Taratatis. What a cool name that is. I wish I knew how to say that correctly, but that is way cool. So we are open today to any conversation that you want to talk about. We are right now still hunting down a conversation about mindfulness, and then talking about holistic wellness. So in my understanding of holistic wellness, we have the opportunity to engage with our bodies and with the environment and life around us in a way that causes us to optimize our health, for our bodies to really automatically adjust and thrive. We have a need when we have a desire to eat or drink or sleep, and we know how to solve that need in order to get back to balance so that we always have enough resources to do what we want to do and live the life that we want to live. And when I think about holistic medicine and a holistic lifestyle, I think about engaging in healthcare practices that build us up as opposed to breaking us down. Look at the beautiful lights. Thank you so much. Those lights are beautiful. So we want to build up. We want to choose health strategies that by the time we've done them, we're healthier than when we got started. And I want to be clear, that's not always true. In this country especially, we have some big practices. And as you pointed out, my friend, in the beginning, when you asked, am I somebody who pops pills? No, I'm not somebody who pops pills. I'm not putting pills down. I'm saying that they have a proper place, right? Just like surgery has a proper place. We don't use it every day. That would be ridiculous, right? It would be ridiculous. Thank you so much, Sophie. It would be ridiculous for us to use an extreme intervention like surgery to solve everyday problems. People can heal on their own, and most of the time the body is able to repair itself. You use the more extreme interventions when that is the only way to achieve a higher level or more focused outcome. So with holistic medicine, we choose strategies and interventions that by the time you're done doing it, hopefully you haven't caused any harm. And if we're lucky, you're much better off than before you got started.
What are some
And that's
examples?
a really fun thing. Well, I'll give you one example. And this is a really funny story. And it's kind of a sad story. We had a client years ago, and I don't know if you knew this, but I had done a doctorate degree in naturopathy a really long time ago. And my husband and I were practicing holistic practice together. And a client came in who was very overweight and had blood sugar problems, and we helped this person get on a healthier track. So this person was exercising more, controlling the sugars and the carbs and things like that, and was feeling better. And then a few months later, I see him and he gained weight again. And I'm like, well, what happened? You were doing so well. He said, oh, I just really like eating ice cream at night. And I'm like, what? So he was back on diabetes medication, right? He willfully decided. Now, I showed him there were brands of ice cream, plus there are ways we can make our own ice cream at home where it is not harmful and in some ways even health supportive, right? And there are some sweeteners. They might not be quite as tasty as sugar, but if it doesn't blow out our kidneys and ruin our blood sugar balance, why wouldn't we embrace that?
Yeah.
So that is an example. So there is someone who purposely decided that they really liked eating ice cream every night, even if that meant they were going to take medication or have to inject themselves with insulin. And that was the life path that they chose.
Yeah, it's all about priorities.
Right.
What are your priorities? What are your priorities? You know, my priorities are definitely getting to school, you know, waking up, taking good care of myself, taking good care of my little baby leopard gecko at home. Another one of my
About to lose your earring.
Huh?
You're about to lose your earring. There we go.
Dang.
They look
Another
like
one.
rock candy, by the way.
They're little
really
gummy
pretty.
bears.
Oh, is that what they are? They're
Yeah.
adorable.
I have some extra ones if you want them. But another one of my priorities is making sure that I take care of myself, take care of my gecko, take care of my room and my house, because now that I'm 22 and I'm an adult, you gotta do these things, even when you do them when you're younger and you're cleaning your room. But now it makes sense because when you have company over, you don't want, you want to have a nice clean house. So that's what I do, and I prioritize my art. I draw and I paint a lot, and that's something that keeps me going throughout the day, throughout the year.
And she does makeup. She
Yes.
does beautiful eye things, beautiful things.
But I prioritize definitely my art and listening to music, because that's what inspires me to draw, and that's what inspires me to do what I want to do in the future.
And that music is a really good example. Art is a good example, but music especially. One of the things we talked about this week was youthing, and the fact that we can engage in purposeful life practices in order to achieve longevity and to increase our vitality and enjoyment of life and efficacy and generativity well into the later years and decades of life. So let's see. Aida is a personal belief, just as anything else. I love holistic way of healing and meditating. Oh, yes, yes. Absolutely. And when we're talking about music, I think music has a really big place in this conversation about being mindful, meditative, and engaging in holistic practice. They actually have done research with senior citizens who were in homes where they're sitting there kind of numbing away, rubbing their gums against their tongue, because there's so many nerve receptors in the mouth, and these people are literally bored out of their skulls. They're sitting here in these nursing homes without anything to do. They're basically captives there. They may or may not be able to get around, and they just sit there. And they did this research. If you play music from their youth, from when they were teens and 20s, these young people all of a sudden start to perk up a little bit, move a little bit better. They were breathing more deeply. Their shoulders went back so that their lungs were able to take in more breath, and they had more oxygen flowing in their blood and in their brain.
Yeah. Also, another thing is when you start doing meditation, the more you practice, the more your breath is going to be longer and healthier and more effective, I would say. I meditate in the mornings. I try to. And the more that because you're supposed to go breathe in. So let's try this. Let's say breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you let it out for 8 counts. So it's it seems a little difficult because, of course, it's a lot of breath you're holding, but the more you practice, the more disciplined you get. That's along with exercise. Exercise takes discipline. Your deep breathing, practicing meditation, practicing whatever hobby you like, that all takes discipline. And I feel like that's a really big, music is medicine for me too. Like, it for real is. I like to listen to my music on the porch swing. It gets me through, music, it touches, I'm very passionate about music, so excuse me, but music touches the soul. I like to call it the universal language. It's because everybody, even if they're listening to another language, they can feel it through the melody and they can feel it through the beat, and it's in this area. You can feel music in your chest, about right up here. And it just flows within you, and something in your brain can recognize if a higher note means something, or if a lower note, or if a faster beat, or if, all of those things. That's music. That's the universal language of this entire world, of this entire universe. They say when you die and you move on, you can hear music. You hear like this electronic humming music, and I've never experienced that. I did go into a coma, but I don't remember what I heard. I just remember knowing everything. But,
well, you know what? We are vibration.
Oh, yeah, no, everything's a frequency.
We are music. There is nothing but energy and vibration. We can break all of existence down into energy and vibration, and there's a vibration that is like a wave form and a light form, and they are interchangeable and they go back and forth, and so we are music.
That's why when people say your soul moves on after you die, it's your soul, but your soul is a different part your soul is different than your, what was it called? There's the soul, and then there's the soul and the spirit are two different things. The soul is what is deep inside of you, and it is what makes you up truly in the deeper moments, in the deeper parts of you that you sometimes have not even realized yet. And then the spirit is this other, part of your entireness, and that is more of the childlike things. It's more childlike. It wants to go get this giant thing of pancakes and eat it all in one sitting. Or it wants to go blast music even though the neighbors are downstairs. Really, it wants to do something. It's very eager and it's very energetic. And you have to calm down the spirit before you can start focusing on your soul. So people get that confused a lot. They think the spirit is the soul, but it's actually two separate things.
It sounds like you've had a lot of experiences at 22 to even have perspectives on this.
Oh yeah, I know all about the different. I know all about what happens when you die. I know from
personal experience.
Yeah.
Now you talked about the music being up here. In actuality, we can feel music anywhere in the body, and we have the chakra levels.
Yeah, it's chakras.
We have the energy meridians, and so some people are actually able to feel it all throughout their bodies.
That's pretty amazing. I know whenever I feel music, I feel it right up in here. I feel it in my heart, like in my chest area right here.
And does anyone engage in any somatic type practices like yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong? Because then you're actually moving your energy around, and we have this treasure trove of energy underneath our navel, underneath our belly button, called the Dantian or Tanden.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And so when you do Qigong, you're doing movements to bring the energy in and balance your body out, and it is absolutely amazing. And that's the storehouse. And I think a lot of people focus on what we think in our mind and what we feel in our heart and in our gut. But in actuality, the storehouse of energy is down here in the lower part of our abdomen.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Which is a really big part of mindfulness practices and bringing the body and the mind together in a practice like yoga, or I love Qigong. Those are the foundation moves to Tai Chi before the whole Tai Chi dance came along.
That's pretty amazing. The fact that you can manipulate energy like that. You can manipulate, that's what I think, I don't know, I feel like people that have mastered like psychic movements, or like moving up, you know, I can't talk today. I can't talk. The spoon, when it moves and bends, I feel like that's someone who's mastered controlling energies and controlling frequencies, because every movement is also...
Hi, unicorn baby girl. Yeah, so they're talking about yoga and going outside, and Gary is talking about pets as medicine. Pets are medicine. Sunlight is medicine. Trees are medicine. I think if a person is ill, if they were to go outside with a dog or a cat and lean up against a tree in the sunshine and breathe the fresh air for a few hours, they'll probably heal a lot of what ails them. For real. I'm not even being funny. We can so much restore our body's health and vitality and ability to heal. We might not heal a disease or a disorder in that moment, but we can restore our capacity to be able to heal by engaging in those things. And I think that's where holistic medicine comes in, that we engage in a lifestyle that allows us to be the most resilient to whatever comes along, so that we can heal and restore. Let's see, we have some fun people here. Let's see, unicorn baby girl, do you have any topics you wanted to bring? Yes, goat yoga combines both. Don't you just love it? Goats are so adorable. Oh my goodness, they are such precious.
I know.
Oh, they're so cute. They're so cute. I love little baby sheep too.
They look like little devils.
Yes, vitamin D in the sunshine.
Yes, that's really good. That's really good natural medicine.
And then that brings us back to the whole epigenetic conversation,
right?
Because this is really important. Because of the things that are going on in the environment, we have so many toxins in the environment. We have such poor quality nutrition. And depending on where we live, we might even have poor quality food, poor quality air. We have caused changes in the way our DNA is able to produce the enzymes and the proteins that support life. And one of the challenges that we're having is a large number of people are not able to produce enough vitamin D in their bodies, even when they're going outside and getting a lot of fresh air and sunshine. Now, obviously, the more sunshine you're exposed to on your skin, the more likely you are to make more vitamin D. But one of the big things that we need to do is to check our epigenetic status. And we do that by doing a test like a 23andMe saliva test that checks for the epigenetic status. It's not the ancestry one, it's the next level up. And then we have to run it through a special program to analyze it. But we can find out what our likelihood is of producing the right amount of vitamin D in order to optimize health and well-being.
Well, I have a 23andMe. 23andMe, we can look at mine as, for example, and show you what that would look like.
Yes, absolutely, Gary. There are additives that are banned in Europe. That's right. Yes, and Aida, soil will take all the negative ions and convert it to the self. An old people story, but I believe it. Yes, I believe that there is an interaction. When the sun hits the earth, I believe that there is an exchange of ions. And we walk outside with shoes with synthetic soles and heels. So I try to make sure that I get outside and put my feet on something natural like wood or earth. every day as much as possible. Because Aida, I'm totally in there with you. And do you know there's a name for that? It's actually called earthing. There's this whole earthing movement about how important it is for us to be in the sun and then to touch the surfaces that the sun has shone down upon, because there is an exchange of energy and we get to absorb it into our bodies. And it's part of the battery that makes the human being continue to work and thrive. Let's see. So 23andMe, you can go into a pharmacy. Some of the pharmacies have a little box that you take home. You just have to make sure that you're ordering the one that's the second level. It's about $200. And it's the one that checks for your epigenetic status. And it'll also give you a little bit of genetic information as well. But when you get the report back, you will get raw data with your report. So by law, they are not allowed to analyze the data and tell you about your epigenetic status, but they'll give you the raw data. And then you can hook it into another program. I like to use Genetic Genie. And then there's a doctor named Ben Lynch. So I usually do the Genetic Genie one and then the Ben Lynch one. He changed the name of his program recently. But I usually do those two. There's a third one I sometimes do, but it's not a big deal. It's a new science, so I like to check a couple different providers to make sure I'm getting the best of the information. And then when you see a pattern, and then you see that there's a potential deficiency and it matches up with symptoms or challenges you're having with your health, all of a sudden it informs a new way for you to care for your body. Whether you need more sleep, whether you need more sunshine, whether you need to drink more water, whether you're someone who's sensitive to chocolate, or you're someone who doesn't process meat, or you need more protein, or you need more. It's all very, very interesting and exciting.
Good. It got my wake up time right.
Wow.
Yeah, it says, this is my 23andMe, so this is what the app looks like when you put in your DNA. In fact, I actually found my birth brother using this, which is insane. But it says, it gives you these traits, and it says likely prefers salty, or less likely to hate chewing sounds. So not only does it look at your genetics, but it also looks at and stuff, which is super fun. And so it got my wake up time correct, which I wake up at 9 o'clock every day. And it said likely to wake up at 9:02, if you can see that.
Hi, Samaya.
That's pretty insane. It also shows your health. I have an increased likelihood for type 2 diabetes, which is scary.
And we're not going to let that happen.
No, except I love sugar too much. Okay, and then it talks about your, where you're from. So it says that I am 35% Western Asian and North African. So that's like, Iran, Istanbul, what is it? Istanbul? What's that place called? Istanbul. Istanbul.
Okay.
And then I've got 30% Indian. Indian, and then European, I got 30% of that. So that's like Greek and Balkan, and then Russian, and so it explains all of these things.
And that's the ancestry part, but that's not the actionable part that gives us information about how to care for ourselves. It's that other level. The epigenetic test is the next level up, and it's a whole nother layer of information, and they still get it from testing your saliva. Whoops.
Well, I didn't mean this. I thought I was helping, but
no, it's fine. It's really fun to look at. But the other thing is, it's kind of funny because when people who are really geneticists look at some of the ancestry tests, they kind of laugh, because in reality, we are a mixture of so many different races and ethnicities that they just kind of decided to pick which ones to talk about, because in reality, the report would be really, really long if we were to talk about all of the ancestors and all the ancestries and ethnicities that led up to it. So they just pick and choose which ones they're going to put in the report. But on the epigenetic side, I found that information is very useful and can really have a positive impact on health and well-being. So we have some fun people who've joined us. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Right, Gary, they look at the most recent. Absolutely.
I don't think that's entirely true, though.
Well, they look at some of the They have to pick and choose. They don't do a thorough report because the report would be huge. And so
my report is very, very big.
yeah.
And the thing is that I feel like they don't just pick out random ones, because my birth parents were gypsies. Or Romani, if you want to call it correctly. It's Romani, not gypsy, but everybody knows them by gypsies. And gypsies originate from India. And my blood, or my DNA, originated from India. So that makes sense. The fact that it never saw me, you know, they pulled all of that out from my DNA. I also, you know, gypsies like to travel around different places around the globe, and so it actually makes sense based off of the information, urban gypsy information that I know.
That's cool.
Yes, I am a gypsy. But it says that my family moved. My family moved out of India into Europe, and then from there it went to I went from India to Middle Eastern, which is where the Iran and the Istanbul and the Turkey come from, and then they moved up into Russia, which is where I was born.
Right. Well, she's not a practicing gypsy, but her.
Yes, I am.
Oh, are you still a practicing gypsy? Oh, you never told me that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
amazing.
I
do. Yeah, I study.
That's so cool. Well, you have to talk to us about that another day. That is really amazing.
Yes, I do fortune telling, and I'm studying psychic things right now. I'm on chapter 2 of my psychic book, which when you get to, chapter 7, you graduate and you're official psychic. And I am a Wiccan. I do, and not necessarily Wiccan, because, I believe in a bunch of different things. I don't believe in just, Mother Nature. I believe in God, and I believe in the life after death and all of those things. But I feel like when you're on this earth, you can use a lot of those things that you have here, and that can help you communicate with others, help you communicate with different, universes, and so, ever since my coma, I was really into that. And then also my birth parents are, they're natural psychics, and, they're natural, free spirits, which I'm very free-spirited. And
you are a free spirit. I love that about you, Julia.
It's a little bit of a problem, because I hate working for people, but,
and all of you who are my friends, all of you, just so you know, you're all a bit of free spirits. I collect free spirit friends. They're my favorite friends. And did you know, we have another topic we're going to get to talk about maybe next week. Dr. William Singh was saying she would love to contribute information about how to avoid developing diabetes too, because it is completely avoidable. It is very much a product of the Americanized modern diet and lifestyle. Completely avoidable. Don't have to get it. Even if we're predisposed genetically, we do not have to get it. So when we figure out how we can share and bring other people in, we'll have Dr. William Singh come with us, and she'll talk about that. And we'll make diabetes too either balancing the body out to restore glycemic control or avoiding development of it. Let's see.
Jerry, are you gypsy as well? Let me look at the comments. It's pretty awesome.
Free spirits. They're talking about they're very much free spirits.
Uh-huh. Yes, they originated in India. And you're right, not every gypsy has psychic abilities. But it's kind of like there's a psychic in every type of thing. So you got the psychics in India. You've got Native American spirit will, when they go in a circle, or in those it's like that medicine, like the medicine they used in Native American culture from a long time ago. There's always one person in the tribe that does the magic and communicating with the spirits. There's
like an equivalent of a shaman.
Yeah, there's different types of. They're all psychic, but they're all. It's different. There's psychic abilities in all of us. To be honest, it's just we have to unlock them.
And then there's herbs.
Oh yeah, there's herbs.
And Benita asked a question. She asked about detoxing the liver naturally. When I think of detoxing the liver naturally, and this is another conversation we probably want to have as well with Dr. William Singh when she joins us maybe next week, the week after, if she's available. I always think of milk thistle. I love using an herbal approach, but also we have to drink lots of water. Sleep is critical. One of the things that is inherent in the human body is the ability to repair and restore. And it's amazing what happens when we have a long interrupted period of sleep with deep REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. The body will actually go into production of human growth hormone. And the human growth hormone will cause the body to regenerate and make new cells. So if because of the toxicity, some of the liver has, some of these liver cells are damaged or are in cell death, then the body is able to clean that out and create new cells. So that's one part of it. Another thing is taking a look at our general defenses against free radical damage, right? So everybody knows, and we've known for decades about the importance of selenium and glutathione. And by the way, if you check your epigenetic status, you can find out if you have something called methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase deficiency. If you do, then you are not regenerating your glutathione enough, and you are therefore not clearing out enough toxins, and that can cause a problem with the liver. So we have to take a look at the epigenetic status to make sure that the body has enough glutathione being regenerated. It's used, it's recycled, used, recycled over and over, and we need a constant supply of selenium to keep it going. And by the way, let me mention, when selenium has naturally occurred in any water supply, the cancer rate in that community historically has been reduced by about 50%, 50%, whether it's 49, 52, it's about 50%. So that's a powerful thing. But there's another type of antioxidant that we make in our bodies that can help with clearing out the liver. It's amazing. And it is something that we know about as a sleep aid. It's something that we take at night to sleep, melatonin. We make melatonin to fall asleep, but it turns out that intracellularly within the cells, melatonin is a powerful antioxidant, perhaps even more powerful than the glutathione and selenium that we've recognized for decades as being one of our primary defenses. So when we think about clearing the liver, we have to think about making sure that we're not bringing in any more toxins to further burden, right? And let's see. C. Shock is talking about roasted dandelion tea for detoxing the liver. Yes, dandelion is beautiful. And especially because dandelion is a taproot, it goes way down into the ground. You have to make sure you get organic dandelion. But dandelion as a taproot will pull up nutrients that other plants might not pull up. And so at the same time we're detoxing, we also want to make sure we're restoring the nutrients, especially those very fragile little minerals that we need to keep going. Let's see.
I know melatonin gives me bad dreams.
Yes, so Aida loves dandelion. Dandelion it saved your life during the war. Absolutely.
Oh.
Yes, and the thing is, it's available in the community. So you were able to go out and pick it and make tea and also eat it. I remember I used to make dandelion stew.
Really?
And I didn't pick it in the yard because we had dogs in the neighborhood and I just don't want to go there. But I bought dandelion leaves from the organic market, and I remember a friend came over for dinner, and when I told her we were having dandelion stew, she was quite offended, but it was really delicious. It was just like a vegetable stew, just like any other, except instead of using spinach or green beans, the green thing was dandelions, and they're quite yummy, whether you cook them or eat them raw. Oh, Aida used every part of the dandelion. That's right. And roasting the root for coffee. Oh, wow. And the flower for honey. That is amazing. Yes. And so just even this wonderful natural conversation, Benita, if you're still here, bringing a food like dandelion into your diet can be something that is very health supportive for the liver, right? And then if you take a look at something else, maybe like a milk thistle or something like that, you can provide additional levels of support. And then, of course, I am a big fan of energy work. I acupuncture. I actually practice electroacupuncture myself. I know if you're in Florida that my friend Dr. William Singh is a traditional Chinese medical doctor, and she actually does acupuncture there. So that is another thing that you could do to move the energy through the meridian. And that also is something that can help with detoxing. And last but not least, anytime we're detoxing, we have to make sure that we're supporting the digestive system, because after the liver throws off the toxin, we have to make sure that we move it out of the body. So it's important for us to make sure that we're taking care of our gut microbiota, that we have healthy organisms and healthy community basically inside our gut, but also that we're eating a balance of foods, and that includes some fiber in order to keep things moving through, because if we're throwing off toxins, we want to make sure that we clear it out of the body and that it leaves the body altogether, because then we're not going to reabsorb it or create a problem. Oh, thank you so much. You guys are so amazing. Thank you, Daffodil. Yes, we love C-Shock 800. And by the way, we haven't talked about this much, but C-Shock is one of the nonprofit fairies. So our nonprofit, Orchard Human Services, reaches out to other nonprofits and philanthropic organizations to provide support. So C-Shock is one of our nonprofit fairies. And if you look, there's a post on my page about the nonprofit fairies, and you can check our website, Orchard Human Services, to find out how to reach her. So if any of you are involved in a nonprofit or some sort of philanthropic activity or organization, you'll be able to reach out to her or to our other nonprofit, Charday Dillard, and they can provide support with all sorts of things, including getting access to lists of grants that you might qualify for, filling out the paperwork to apply to become a nonprofit, getting the grants, things of that nature. Lots of really exciting things. So let's see. Oh yes, Gary, that is so smart. An herbal pharmacy. Yes. When we had our holistic practice, I had a portion of the office that we called the herbal apothecary, and we made sure we carried all the herbs and nutrition products as well. Because in terms of being holistic, we always love to start there. But it's not just about throwing vitamins at people. Now that we know about epigenetics, there are some nutrients that some people can't handle, or they can only use certain versions. So it's more important than ever that we take advantage of this information that is now bestowed upon us because of this new research in epigenetics. Some people should never take folic acid. It is absolutely toxic to them. They may be having chronic health problems or vision problems or memory problems, or chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia, and it could all be because they're eating foods that have been supplemented with folic acid. So it's really exciting to have access to all this information. Julie has something really fun. Julia has something really fun here. We ordered something from Cosmic Explorers.
Cosmic Explorers.
Yes, and my friend Maria is not here, but Maria on the main does a really fun live a couple nights a week. And so she sent me an invite to Cosmic Explorers, and we ordered this, and we thought maybe you guys might like to see what it is.
Here we go. Well, it looks like this when you open it. You got your nice little, oh wow. Looks like we got some crystals here.
We ordered them last week when we were driving home after the live last week.
And we have a thank you. What in the world is this? Look, you got a little pendant.
Linden Tea. Wow, tell me more about that, Gary. I don't recognize that name. I wonder what else it's called.
Look at what they gave you. It says pray for us.
Oh, that's beautiful. It looks like a little medal, a St. Michael medal. Oh, how sweet. I'm going to hold this up. They sent that as a gift. Isn't that precious? Thanks for joining us. Hi, everybody.
Okay, I'm going to undo the obsidian. Does it?
Hi, Mickey.
Do you guys know what obsidian is used for? I want to see if anyone knows. Does anyone know what obsidian does for you?
Oh my goodness, a friend says she wishes her dad was dead. Wow, that is really, really heavy. I would have questions like, what happened? What went on in that relationship? What harm befell either or both of them? Is there a mental health disorder? Was there a substance use disorder? Was there abuse? Did their family get involved in some sort of a tragic event? Sometimes someone can be involved in an accident and then wind up losing their mind and getting out of touch with their sense of peace and wind up resenting all the people around them. I don't even know where to begin without knowing a little bit more information, but I really would encourage them, if they're talking, to see if they could do a little bit of relationship work together. It's not just for couples. We do relationship work with parents and children, and if somebody is wishing their parent dead, I have compassion that that person must be suffering terribly to be feeling that and thinking that about their own father. And again, it might be completely justified. I don't know what the circumstances are, and I would be very personally very cautious to recommend anything other than having them see a very well qualified trauma specialist, because it sounds like there really might have been some sort of trauma that befell that family or that befell that father and daughter in their relationship. That's the thing that would be the most concerning for me, and to make sure they had that proper support. So I would start with that.
We have officially opened both of the crystals.
Yes, Daffodil, they are things that we have to talk about. And that's the thing. And I'm so glad that you're so sensitive about this. You know, when we share, like I put up 5 strategies the other day for how we can feel a little bit better. When we share these strategies, I'm not suggesting that we're going to solve all the problems in the world by holding our shoulders back and smiling and breathing deeply or practicing metacognition. These are time-honored, evidence-based practices that can have a positive impact on our mindset, our self-efficacy, our mood, our mental health. But they don't fix everything, right, Daffodil? And as you know, sometimes people have been through something very, very difficult, and they may be suffering from trauma. If there's trauma caused by a parent, then it might be a type of trauma called complex trauma. And it takes a very specific set of therapeutic clinical skills to help someone work through that. Or they might have just been traumatized. I have so many clients who've been caught up in car accidents or storms, and then that causes a breakdown in the relationship between parents and children. So I'm so glad that you're so sensitive to that. Yes, we should have a live on trauma. It's such a really big topic.
Yes.
So I'm going to let you show these beautiful little things that we got from Cosmic Explorers. And if you go over there, tell them that Julia and Dr. Darleen sent you, please, because they're really nice.
Can I give a little lesson in
crystals? Yes, go ahead. Give us a little lesson.
Okay, so I study crystals. I am a crystal witch, or like what you call in that sense. And what we have here is obsidian. And then we have amethyst. And obsidian is used for protection. This is used for practices in, dispelling all negative energy. If you want to wear it around your neck, it'll protect you from other people's energy that is negative. It'll protect you from any sort of spiritual harm. And this is a really good, boundary. This is like it creates this force field around you of protection. I've used these to, dispel demons. I use these and another stone for taking away demons. I've done that 4 times with obsidian. And amethyst. Amethyst is, this is used for insomnia and for nightmares. So if you're struggling with nightmares or you can't go to sleep, get yourself some amethyst. Another thing is, so when you first get your crystal, let's say you're going to a crystal shop, there is a very specific way that you need to pick out your crystal, because every crystal has its own consciousness. If you believe it, they actually can sense you. They can feel you around them. It's almost as if they're alive, but they're not technically alive, but their energy is almost the same as our energy. So you need to respect them, and you need to take care of them, clean them, put them out in the moonlight for a couple hours or in the sunlight to completely cleanse them and get them recharged. Because the more charged the more charged your crystals are, the more they're going to help you.
Hi, Pamela. And Aida's has the evil eye all around the house as well. Yeah, these things are fun, but I just want to be clear, like, it's totally cool that you have a practice with demons, but I want to just separate that. There was a very horrible thing running around the internet.
Oh.
Someone talked about children having autism actually being infected by demons, and I want to just dispel that. That is a completely ridiculous myth. And I made a post about it because I was so completely offended.
No,
and as a clinical mental health provider and a special education teacher, I was outraged. So I just want to mention, so that nobody gets that confused.
Yeah.
We are not at all advocating or supporting that ridiculous belief.
No, my best friend has autism, and she's amazing.
It's
she's
just
beautiful in every way.
It's a form of neurodiversity. We are all diverse in the way our nervous systems work and the way we respond to the world.
Yeah. So we're not supporting
that has nothing
that.
to do with
that. Has nothing.
Keeping that
I
separate.
just used this as like an example of how to use obsidian. But if you ever do want to go get your own crystal at a crystal shop, you need to make sure that you feel this connection with your crystal. So I'm going to ask you to hold these crystals.
And I'll hold them. And then Aida is talking about, yes, Gary, it's a terrible misconception. And Aida is talking about what the evil eye looks like. It's blue and white and with a black circle in the center.
Yeah, it's got a white, it's blue.
These are beautiful. Is there a little stand for one of them?
Yes, there's stand for both of them. So what I want you
Aren't
to
these
do...
precious? Look at how cute these are. Oh, I see. Look at this cute little stand.
Wow.
Wow. These are really cute. Did I hurt you?
No.
Oh,
I just say that whenever I think something's cute.
They're so adorable. Anyway.
Did you feel their energy when you
Yeah.
touched them?
And TikTok is so much fun. Can you believe that we got these on TikTok last week after we did our live? Okay. Any other topics or conversations today? Oh, you put them on newborns. Yes. Do you know what we did? We put different strings of beads of natural stones on the babies because of the energy. Mm-hmm. Like, was it the yellow one?
The citrine?
Yeah, citrine. We did that one. It's supposed to help with teething and I don't know what else. But anyway, that's always a fun thing.
Thank you for listening to my lesson.
And Janet. Hi, Janet. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us.
I got poison ivy like last week, and I'm crazy itchy.
Okay. Well, did anyone else have any comments? Because we are at the top of the hour here. So, yes, polio was eliminated. Yes, and then also some of the immunizations may not be intact, and so there might be an opportunity for people to have them re-upped. Mother Nature and science, yes. And I think that that's the thing we started out with talking about, Aida, that if someone needs to take something like an immunization or take a medication, and it's a well thought out, careful thing that is going to maximize health and make you better than when you got started, it is a blessing. And I see medication, I see science as a blessing for humanity, as long as we are very measured and careful, and we do it in a way that has respect, and we're uplifting people's health and well-being as we do it. Anybody else have any comments or topics for today? Because otherwise we're coming at the top of the hour. Yes, thank you so much. Hi, Touch of Class. Any topics or conversation that you wanted to have for today before we finish up? We talked today about epigenetics. We talked about holistic lifestyle and holistic healing and medicine. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Gary. Thank you so much. Thank you. Benita, I'm so glad that you were here. Yes, and I think having a nice balanced approach to caring for ourselves so that we're maximizing health and well-being for ourselves and also for our community. I think that there are times that we can do things in order to help one another as well. Yeah. So, almost 10,000 likes. Wow, that is so incredibly kind. Thank you very, very much. Benita, any other comments or questions? I'm so glad you were here today. Oh, thank you. Thank you, C-Shock. I'm so grateful that you were here. You guys are so wonderful. Thank you, Benita. Thank you, everybody. Okay, well, let's do a countdown. Our last 10. If anybody else has any comments, otherwise we'll say goodnight from Julie and Dr. Darleen. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Good night. Thank you so much.